There we go. All right. Welcome, everybody. We got, now we're live. Okay. Wow, one of that sweat. Okay. We can, grab this. Put that into one of the USB ports there on the side. Sorry. There it is. All right. There we go. Moderator John. And Logitech, yeah, testing that. Great. Awesome. And when you talk onto it, is it unmuted? Does it show up here? There you go. Awesome. There we go. It's working now. Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Now it's not on yours. How weird is that? So why can't you see that? That's so weird. Hmm. I don't get it. I don't get why it doesn't show. Oh, that's the most important thing is to have that one there. Watch it on this. I feel better for somebody else has trouble. I'm not sure what that's about, you know. So you see me talking about, can you hear me at all on yours? Okay. So maybe the local connection and the Wi-Fi. Is it connected that way to the Wi-Fi? It is, because you're connected somehow. No? Check 1, 2, huh? Check 1, 2. To see if people can hear this on it. Yeah. We are live, huh? Upcoming. I believe it's live streaming now. Yep, there we go. All right. There we go. I think it's time, yeah. We'll go ahead and kick this off here and see how it goes. All right, Debbie, you've got audio and you got audio coming through the main thing. So when I talk, it should be bouncing like that. It should work that way. Yeah. Thank you. Where's that? Okay. Got it? Awesome. I'm gonna take a bite of it. Thank you. Take a bite of it. Get going. Was it mine? That's funny. Okay. I like that with the roll. I like it with the roll, yeah. The cornbread turned out great, yeah, and it's sweet, and the meat turned out well. That's great. I wonder how to mute this on my microphone right now. Everybody on mine is. They did, didn't they? Thank you so much. Thank you for your patience. I'm gonna grab a napkin here. Wipe off something. Glad to have you guys here. We know that one person's not going to make it, and I thought another person, Abby, was going to make it tonight, but I haven't seen her. So we may have a new person showing up a little bit. There's a couple of people that can't get off till 6, so I waited a little bit. But we can go and get started if you're ready. Good to see you guys. Good to see you. I'm glad you're doing well. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it's smart. Sure, the ice chewing is really good on my mic, isn't it? Right. Do you have it on your phone? You have the Jitsi app on your phone? If you go to the website, you can click on it there. It should pull it up to download the app, and you should be able to click in and see it and maybe hear it. Yeah, it's weird that it doesn't show up here. What are we connected to? Public. That's weird. Let's try that one.
There won't be any
Connected
swimming this
network, huh?
one.
That's too
It's all
bad.
winter stuff. There's a Jamaican bobsled team again, though.
Try to get Buddy Buddy to all lowercase. I wonder what the mute function is this. Oh, well. Try to connect it. Yeah, it's still there. That's really weird. It won't connect that way. Let's go ahead and, what's that? Are they? Yeah, I had trouble getting certain keys to work too. Like, what's it doing? Oh, it could be a weak connection to the motherboard too.
So, yeah, it's
Try them out. Doesn't Oh, there we go. Awesome. There we go. Yeah, log in. Forget me that way. Yeah, cool. There we go. Okay. So yeah, if you go between the two, you'll still see my voice should pop
Okay.
that. Should.
But I can just leave it on.
You sure can? Well, you can leave it on one when it's a presentation, when it makes more sense for close up. All right, when we're talking about something.
Yeah, I thought so.
No, this is just for when I walk away from the presentation, I'm saying something else. They don't, if they're looking at that, they don't understand it, right? But this is what we'll do, during the lesson when I'm covering the things that are on the screen.
Okay.
Then when I step away from them, saying other things, talking about it, you can do that. And then you can change that shot if you want to. Like close-ups are always better. We'll watch and see how close my lips match. It probably won't match. Okay. I think hey, go ahead and mute your microphone, Jen. Yes. Hmm? If we turn that on, you won't be able to see it there. Yeah, we can turn this on over here though. Might help a little. So, does that help a little bit for you? Okay. Jen, yours is muted, right? Okay. Huh. All right. Well, welcome. Thank you for coming tonight. Why get a little echo here? It's so weird. It's like something's sticking out. Let's make sure both those are muted, I guess, is what I would do. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to turn it down here. There we go. I'm not going to listen to that feedback. You still have my response in there still? Okay, that's good. I was getting the feedback, so I just want to. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. I'm glad to see each of you here. If anybody's online looking at this later, sorry about that. It was a rough start, but we'll get there eventually. I'm going to try to make some transitions as we go. I'm still getting used to doing the live stream, getting used to interacting in several worlds at the same time. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm going to try to focus on tonight. We're going to talk about web browsers and searching the internet. So let's cover a couple things, announcements, things that we're using throughout the whole lesson, just for interacting with things. How do you, Becky, you get things like text, right, from me during the week? And sometimes when you check the internet, that's what I thought. And Carol's email, right? Carol's better with email. And do you get our emails from the church? Okay. And is that the best way to interact with you for keeping you up to date? Okay. Just wanted to check because there's some people, I've got a list going now that some people don't get or don't have internet or they don't check their email quite often. So I've got a tier that I'm following. Just to introduce you to the people that are helping us tonight. Got myself teaching Stefan and Jen's back here on the left side here, wave here, Jen, yeah. And Stacy's over here in the teal shirt with the panda ears. And Debbie, yeah, and Debbie's back here behind the computers running all the master controls for us tonight. Her and James will be doing that. That's my son, but he's not feeling well, so he's staying home from school today. And then Christian's over here in the corner. Hey, Christian, would you wave to everybody? If you need help, any one of these people can help and answer a lot of questions. They can help get you on track for where we were at in the lesson in case you're lost. Just raise your hand and look at them, and they'll come and somebody will come and help you like that. The main way we're going to interact is through the church website. That's where you get the emails from. Like I said, I'll try to keep up. I'll keep a list. I'm trying to communicate best with everybody that I can. But if you remember that West Park Baptist, yeah, .org is the easiest way to go in and interact that way. You can reply, yeah, you can reply to the emails that you get when there are certain announcements. So, and you can always go to our website, the Tech for Life one. So there's all links in every email we send out that you can get to it pretty easily. And what I'll do is I'll tell you when we're ready to start looking at the computer that's in front of you and when to log in. And that way you won't get lost from what I'm trying to do. Hopefully, if I have to write anything up or something like that, it'll make sense. Let's see here. We'll just skip that right now. Just wanted to let you know, in 2 days we're having a Tech for Life. A Tech Help Saturday, which is different than tonight. Tonight is a lesson. It's going to teach you certain things, how to do certain things. On Saturdays, if you haven't been and you have something on your computer or your own device or something you want to learn, you can come in and we split it up with the amount of people that come. And we're going to start opening it up to more people here in a little bit. So it's going to get a little busy. So it may, usually we have one to three, but that can take a lot of time. So we'll do our best to help you. But we can't solve everything some mornings, some Saturday mornings. Sometimes it takes 5 or 6 hours to fix certain problems. But to let you know, it's the first Saturday of the month, except for 3 weeks. We talked about that last week. Actually, next month, March, it's going to be on the 12th, not the 5th. So as I've shown you before, the best place to look for information about whether we're having class or not is at the website. And I'll put this on the screen here for you. The main website here at tech-for-life.com. And when you get there, it has the schedule there. And it'll tell you if it's been canceled or not. Yeah. So just to let you know, it didn't change? Oh, I bet you I know why. Let me see about that. It's showing, I got it. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I thought I was sharing the whole screen, but apparently I'm not. Yeah. Now it's me. Yeah. Like I said, we'll get there. I'm just going to do screen 2 and share it that way. Hopefully it'll be live enough. Yeah. And sorry. When it comes up here, you'll have a good choice here. Yeah. Give it a second. It'll catch up. Boom. Oh no. We may be switching to Zoom after this. Let's try that again. Yeah, I wondered about the audio. Yeah, I figured as much. We're gonna have to change that, I guess. Here we go. I can share that. Share that window. There we go. I got 2 sharings going on, huh? Is that better? And it's kind of cut off a little bit, which is hilarious, isn't it? Yeah. I think it is. I may go to a different. Yeah. So. There we go. Is that a little better? I'm going to try to get emails sent out on Monday instead of Wednesday or Tuesday about announcements for the class that's coming up. But as far as weather cancellations, we won't know until the day of, but we'll try to make that call by noon. A good way to go by is that we follow the Knox County schools. If they're closed, we're not meeting anywhere on campus. So even if Knox County closed for illness, we're still not having things. So it's usually weather, but because of COVID, we're doing both. So if you hear that that Knox County is out of, is out, then we're not meeting too. And you can go to this website, Tech for Life, www.techforlife.com, and the schedule will be here, and it'll say it by noon. It'll be updated on this page by noon. Like the little, we'll scroll up here a little bit. There we go. If it's canceled, it will say it's online. We'll get together online. We'll just do some question and answer. You can talk about some things. To see the schedule, you can put it on your phone. You can look it up also. Yeah, it'll look like that also. Yeah. But that's the best part for information. And the link for this is actually in those emails at the bottom that we send out. It's at the bottom. You do? Okay, that's good. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to try this stop sharing thing and see if it works. And we'll go back to, yeah. Yep. We'll do this. There we go. Window. All right. So back to the, let's see here. We've got a little thing to think about as we talk about surfing. Some of the things we talked about before was Romans 12:2, changing the input that comes into our mind. So when we change the channel, it changes what we get programmed with. That's the lesson with the corn and the farmer's field. Whether you plant corn or whether you plant poison, it doesn't matter. So it's the same thing as our brain. Whatever you put in your brain is what's going to come out too. So we want to focus on those things that are worthwhile. And we become what we think about. It's actually the only thing that every philosopher agrees on, is that what you think is what you become. So it's very important to replace negative thoughts with positive thoughts. And if you're doing positive things and thinking positive things, this is what's from God. If you're thinking negative things, it's not, it's from his enemy is what it is. So we want to make sure that we're doing God's work when we're out doing that. So we're going to be intentional about what we put into our mind. And Proverbs 8:17 reminds me of that. It says, I love those who love me, and those who seek me diligently find me. So if you seek God, you will find him. Let's go ahead and open up with prayer, and we'll continue from there. Holy Father, I just ask that you'd calm my nerves right now and help me to be smooth and transitioning from segment to segment, that I would present things in an easy to understand way, that these would be great tools that we could use to glorify you and build people up and encourage them. Help us to have good recall and to understand what's presented here tonight. I just ask you to be with those who couldn't be here tonight, those who have family visiting. I just ask that you bless them. Those who couldn't make it, just bless them in whatever they need right now, whether it's healing or just weather. Give us a good evening together. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. As far as questions, as we're going along, go ahead. Debbie, we're trying to call this the parking lot. Is that right? Okay, great. So there's an electronic way we can do that, and I'll show you. Yeah, there's a way to do that. We can either write them on paper, or is what I would do. Write them on paper if you have pen and paper beside you, and then when we get done with the lesson, we'll address those questions. I think that would be the best thing to do at the beginning here. So as we go along, write what the topic was about, and then your question, and we'll follow up, okay? Let's see here. How am I? Be intentional. We're getting ready to log in. So on these systems that are ours, they come with a Windows Pro. So it's what's used in businesses, and they're all locked down. That keeps people from just coming in and getting in the network and seeing what the church has, right? Or same thing with your companies. When you go to work, they have them locked down because they don't want to lose any of their data also. So the main thing that you do to get into a computer like that is to use 3 keys. And we're going to talk about this every time so that you get used to it. On your home machine, you probably don't have a login, but if you do, you know, you have to put in your password and then continue, or a PIN number, right, and then continue. So on these systems here, it's much more like a work system where you'd press down Control, Alt, and Delete. You press down Control, you hold it down, you press down Alt, and then you press down Delete. And usually you can do that with 2 fingers on one hand and 1 finger on the other. When you do that, Control, Alt, Delete, it will give you a login. And let me show you that right there. That's probably better. Control plus Alt, Delete. Press all of them. 1, 2, while you're holding it down, and then tap the third one, and it'll bring up the login screen for that. And then to log in, if you look at it, on the area where it says username, this part right here where it says West Park / you want to make sure that on the login screen itself, yeah, you're already logged in. I'm going to do it again here for you, just so I can see it. And let's see here, lock. There we go. I just wanted to see what it looked like because I need a screenshot like that. Control, Alt, Delete, and then, yeah, so it shows Adult Ed right at the top there. So as long as it's already got the username, Adult Ed, at the top, all you have to put in is the password. If it has a place for both, then you need to make sure you type in Adult Ed, then you put in password. But usually it's just password. It's ready to go usually. Yeah, I know, right? Thank you for letting me do that, Carol. So let's see here. If we're all logged in, we're ready to go. Let's learn on that, and let's close this down. Let's see here. Stop sharing and close that down. Yep, we're gonna have to do this a different way. There we go. So that's got our Tech for Life open, does it? Awesome. I hope I made that big enough. So now you've got a clear screen now, and I won't have to keep shifting it over. It's just whatever I throw over there, hopefully. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah. All right. Oh, yeah, like a plain screen. There's nothing on it, so we're ready to go, yeah. Let's see here. Web browsers. This is the fun part, right, where we start learning about how things work. And we're just going to do that here. Let's do this. Put this over here. We're ready to go. It'll build it. We'll go F11. Nope, not going to do it. So we're going to do this. Boom. There we go. All right. So, Internet Essentials, web browsers. What we talked about before is that every device has an operating system, and that lets you use the hardware and use programs on that operating system to do things with that hardware, right? So on every device we have an app, right? A program or an app. It's just a list of instructions how you can accomplish something. And web browsers are what we use to look at the internet and search the internet. So we use a word processor for making letters and printing out to a document, or a program for editing pictures, right? So each app does a specific thing. Some do a lot of things, but they're usually tied to some type of productivity, right? Editing videos, editing pictures, making audio, making DVDs. Each one of those has a separate app. So web browsers is another app that we're going to look at. And these, we're going to talk about the hardware side and the software side of the internet, okay? So web browsers are on the software side. It's the list of instructions that allow us to look at it. And the internet is the hardware side, okay? So the hardware side is obviously the computer with a network connection going to a wireless router, like your computers are connected to this little wireless hub here, and it goes through a wire out to the internet. right? So all those switches is what they're called, little boxes that have a cable plugged into them. They all connect to each other and all go out to the telephone lines and all connect down to the main building at the telephone company or the cable company, and then they connect to even bigger connections that are connected all over the world that connect to other computers everywhere else. So that's the internet. That's the actual hardware structure that it uses to go that. And they call it the information superhighway runs on that, right? So those are like the roads, and the software are like the cars, right? So the web is the software that runs on that hardware to make the internet work. And that's what is called the World Wide Web. It's a specific language of how to communicate with a computer here, with a computer all the way around the world. They'll talk to each other using that language, basically. So what's important about using the internet is web addresses. We have to know where we're going. We want to remember where we're going. And it's very technical on the backside, so we're not going to talk a lot about that, but we're going to look at what is important about how to type in what you're looking for, right? How to type in an address that you want to go to and why it's important to know the three different parts that are in there that we're going to look at. We're going to look at the parts of a web browser so we know what that window does when we open that app. And then we're going to talk about safe browsing, a little bit about it. We're not going to get into a lot of security stuff until a couple of weeks from now. But this is important to know because we need to start touching web browsers to start interacting with the class and start doing things together with homework and other things like that. And just interacting and coordinating everything like the potluck sign-up sheet. You know, it's on the web and it's a form and it's something we can interact with and share information with the group to know, kind of coordinate our meals. So we'll go over a little bit like that too. All right, so there are two basic sections we talked about, the internet hardware and the World Wide Web software. So the internet is a simple definition. It's a system, a global system, and this even includes not just wires here on the earth, but satellites where they send the information up wirelessly too, right? So we have Wi-Fi here, and they can send it over the internet. The great thing about the internet is that there are multiple paths to get there. So like on the way here, I was coming by Cedar Bluff, and they had a light out, and there was big traffic jam. Well, the nice thing about the internet, it's the same way. So instead of coming the way I normally came, I took a side road and went a different direction. The internet can do the same thing. When there's a blockage or say an outage somewhere, the power's out in a big city, Atlanta or something like that, the internet can go around to a different location. It may take a little bit longer to get that information back, maybe seconds to us, you know what I mean? But it's taken a different path. So every time you type Google, it may take a different path to Google each time, but you don't know it. You just get the information back from Google. So that's the great thing about it is it's kind of self-healing that way, and it was designed to be that way. So these global systems of connected computers are used by people to share information, communicate, make transactions, e-commerce, and everything kind of derives from there, right? Everything's kind of built around that, whether we're sharing information or communicating or doing some type of transaction, right? All right, the World Wide Web defined is actually a part of the internet comprised of web servers and access through a web browser. And a web browser is just a program used to access that. Oh, I'm so sorry. Did we already hand out? That's the first one. I'm so sorry. I didn't think about that. Yeah, we've got a little handout for you. And when you originally take the class, we hand out a little notebook, and I'm sorry, I don't have any right now, but grab your book, find it from the original class that we had, and just keep adding them to it. Yeah. If you take it a different year, it may be slightly different because some things change, right? It may be a little different. But that's what that table of content, yeah, I'm going to borrow this if you don't mind. So just like this, there's we give out a table of contents, and you notice how they're numbered here on the side. Like number 2 is web, right? And if you look in the upper right-hand corner, there's a number 2. So that number that's up here is what matches with the table of contents. So if you put it in that order, It'll be easy for you to find what you're looking for. Yeah. So, and then at the bottom of the page, it shows you the lesson name and what page it's talking about. So if we're lost, you can find it quickly that way. All right. So, if you want to catch up to this, what page are we on for this? Web advertising, right here, right there? Awesome. So yeah, backside of page 2, or yeah, page 2 there in the middle is where we're at. So we're caught up to, we're going to use a program to search the World Wide Web software. Now, here's some examples of some browsers. These are their names, right? You have Brave, Mozilla Firefox, Google Chrome, Internet Edge, which is now Chrome also. Brave is Chrome. Firefox is its own thing. You have Opera, it's its own software, and Safari, which is its own software also. So there's a lot of them that are built off of the same project that's kind of built by a lot of people online. But these are the versions made by Google, the version made by Microsoft, and the version made by a private security guy who used to run this company. And these two are probably the most secure ones that you can use for keeping yourself safe on the internet. And I'm talking about the importance of privacy. And if you have access to Netflix, I really advise you to watch the documentary The Social Dilemma. The Social Dilemma is a documentary interviewing the people that have made most of these really important properties on the internet, you know, Google, Pinterest, Facebook, all the products that you use, and they're warning people about the dangers of it. They're the ones that are scared of it. They said, we made all these wonderful tools to help people, and they're being used in bad ways by the companies that own them. And so they've quit some of these companies and gone on to do other things to try to help people use these tools in a safe way. But it is important to watch this documentary as I'm giving you ways to use these tools online. I don't want the tools to start using you. When you give away a product online, the user becomes the product. If you pay for it, you're still the product. So when you pay for an internet connection, they sell every bit of information about you, where you go online, how long you spend there, what you do. That's when you're paying an internet company for access to it. They still harvest all that data. So you've heard of a term called big data, right? This documentary explains what big data is and why that's hazardous to all the users. Okay? As a quick example, the big ones, Facebook, Apple, Google, those top 3 believe that they can predict what you're going to do with almost a 98% accuracy before you do it. And for $10 million, they will sway 1% of the world a certain direction. Whatever direction you want it to do, they will push society that way. That's the price of the cost of manipulating people. So they're great tools, and with your permission, they let you use their products, but with your permission, you give them all this information about yourself, which tells them, the software that they've written, how to manipulate you. And the software figures it out automatically as fast as it can and knows how to get you to stay interested, stay on that product as long as possible, and even get you to buy things or do things that you probably wouldn't have thought of or done that day. So these things right here, they're great. They're a nice tool, but the problem is that they're manipulative. They listen to us all day long, and they have call centers all around the world, data centers all around the world, people listening for keywords and typing them in. Those are the ones that aren't done automatically. So whatever word you say, it listens to it, and then it builds a profile about you. It may not know your name and tied it to that, but it's tied to this cell phone, tied to this device. Each device has a number, whether it's a phone number or a network connection. And they're starting to tie all those connections together, all your email addresses, all your other things, and they collect all this information about you, and then they manipulate you. And these are the people that created these tools, like Google Drive for storing your documents online so you can get to them no matter where you're at, for FaceTiming and looking at each other and talking to each other, for staying social on Facebook. It's a very good documentary so that you know the hazards that you're getting into when you use these tools, any of these tools. So I want you to be in but not of, right? To be safe and try not to be manipulated by these when you're just trying to do something good with a tool. Because you know how it is. You get on the internet, you're looking for a certain thing, I'm looking for a recipe for beef stew, and 3 hours later, I've been on several video sites, and I've been chatting with people, and I've been sending emails, oh, did you see this? You know, so I'm doing the same thing to other people, saying, hey, you need to waste time with me too. So it's very, and it happens all the time. I'll tell people, oh my gosh, I just spent an hour doing that. Yep. Yes, my joke about that is in the 1950s, we would be on the one telephone in the kitchen, right? And we would say, oh, I probably shouldn't talk about that because the government might be listening. And with Google and Alexa and all that, we say, hey, government, can I have a recipe for apple pie, please? So all this information goes through a main channel for the government. So they know everything about you. They know how to manipulate you to get you to give up your freedom and do what they want you to do. Well, this happens all over the world, right? Happens all over the world. So, and we're willing to trade a little bit of freedom up for security. And when you do that, the security is an illusion. Helen Keller said that, actually. She was blind. Security is an illusion. You can never have security. Something will change somewhere, there'll be a danger somewhere else. And you can't live in fear all that time either, right? So if you give up freedom for security, you've exchanged something for nothing. So it's something to think about too with all this. Now, remember, all these opinions are mine, not the church's. So I try not to put the tinfoil hat on too much, but in learning these systems, I've always been leery of it because it's always listening, it's always learning, and it's manipulative. And so if we know that they're manipulating us, we're going to be aware of it and try not to get caught into being controlled by it. In fact, one of the things I've always said here is, if you see me and I've been online way too long, if I haven't come out of my room for a long time, get me outside and get me walking, get me doing something outside in nature so that I don't, hurt my back and my body and my eyes. So back to those browsers, right? So in order to get into this danger, in order to get in the deep end of the pool, we're going to use a program like one of these to go see it. And these are the logos, and you'll probably see them along the bottom of your computer in the taskbar along the bottom there. You'll see one or two of these in there already. If you have Microsoft, this will be down there. If you have a Macintosh, this will be down there somewhere. And if you've installed others, you'll probably install this or this or this. And I recommend this one or this one. These two are more secure for protecting your data, keeping you safe from prying eyes. And the nice thing about this one is, instead of Google getting the advertising money, you get some of the advertising money just by surfing. So it can pay you a little bit. Mm-hmm. This is Brave. Oh, that's Brave. This is Firefox, the little fox with his tail. Yeah, his little ears and the nose and the tail around the world, right? And this is Google. Google always has those colors manipulated somehow. And that's Edge, because Microsoft is so cool. And Opera has always been an O, red O. And Safari has always been a compass. So they just change from year to year to look slightly different, Which is the green one that looks like an ocean wave? That's Internet Edge, which is also Chrome. The difference is that if you use this one, all your information goes through Google, and they know what you're doing. Google knows what you're doing. If you use this one, it all goes through Microsoft, and they know what you're doing, and they sell that information for money. So you're a product. So this one, they don't make money off of that as best they can. This one will show you ads and pay you some of the revenue for it. That's how they keep developing it. So just like Google shows you ads on every page that they're on, right? That's how they make money. Let's compare these browsers. Let's take a look and see how different they really are, okay? So if we look at this, this is, web pages will look the same in Brave, right? So this is Google. That's what it looks like when you type in google.com and go there in the Brave browser, right? So there's the top of it, what it looks like. Have our standard buttons for closing and making the windows small and big. And we have the address bar where we type the website that we want to go to, right? And then we got a tab. We can have multiple websites open at the same time with this little plus button. Kind of like manila file folders, you know, you pull up like that. Yeah. So this is one window called Brave Browser. But notice Google, there's them. They have the About, Store, Gmail, Images, the search function, a little microphone. Now you can talk to it. Hey, government, give me my apple pie recipe, right? Let's look at another one. Oh, there's Chrome. The web page looks pretty much the same, doesn't it? Have the same things in there, have the microphone, little Google search, same information. And theirs just looks slightly different across the top there. That's Chrome. And then you got this one, which is Firefox. They have a little different look, right? They got a few more buttons changed around, you know, and just has some extra stuff put in. But I kind of like theirs. It has a little separation from those buttons. Makes it easier to see for me. But Google looks the same website, right? And there it is in Edge, and now it's Chromium also. They always say, hey, it's a better way. You get Google Chrome. So when you're in Edge, Google tries to get you to go to Chrome. And when you're in Chrome, Edge tries to get you to go to their website, to their browser. So they're just fighting over the data. So. And there's Safari. Safari looks a little different because it's Apple, right? But it's the same. Google looks the same. Yeah. Safari, yeah. Their buttons look a little different. This is probably an older version of Safari, so I don't use it very much. So you can just pick your favorite, right? And you'll probably want to use the Brave browser because it's got everything locked down on it already, slightly more secure than Firefox. But of those two, those are pretty good, right? The